What's going on, people out there in YouTube land? It is your main man, the Bad Wolf. Are you guys ready for an exclusive? All right, so for many of you out there who do not know, well, I'm the Bad Wolf, and I'm your man, everything patriotic, USA, private, freedom, liberty, rights, and then some. All right, so this particular video, we're going to be talking about not only the do not detain list, but even more so, the USA passport when done as a state citizen or a non-citizen national. Now, a lot of people out there have gained their success, and myself included, from utilizing this particular information that I'm going to be bringing to you guys next. But a lot of people don't know that the original person who really brought this to the forefront is a man in Arkansas by the name of Colonel Vaughn Wilson. He's the owner of Coppermoonshinestills.com, and he's the one that cracked this code a long time ago. Now, when the passports from more than, I don't know, about 20 years back, they didn't, well, we're not going to say they hid the status from us, but what we'll say is that they made it so that if you truly want it, then you should do the research to find it for yourself. So in those days, number 11 on the DS-11 for the passport, even though I do believe it had a different name for the application for the passport in those days, on number 11, it asked you, are you a U.S. citizen, or it said a state citizen. So I was one of the first people to see this years ago, but didn't have the outlet nor the knowledge to understand what was going on and how to use it. So in those days, Mr. Colonel Vaughn Wilson did. And so he took that information after his own experiences dealing with the various, we'll just say, agencies and municipalities and things of that nature, and decided to make it available on the internet. Okay, give me 1 second here. Just want to get in some text messages from some of my favorite people in the world right now. All right. I apologize. So before I find this information, how is everybody doing out there? How's everybody feeling? Hopefully everybody's taking some time for yourselves to bless yourselves, appreciate yourselves, and to just breathe and get off the matrix rat wheel of life. Just breathe a little bit. All right. So I also want to do a shameless promotion for Mr. Colonel Wilson, because we are good friends. Even though at first he kind of ignored my emails. And the reason why he did that, which for most people too, is because he lives his own normal life, and he just simply does not have the time to dedicate to do the very things that I and people like me do, which is to interface with the general public who we're trying to help to become private if they choose, or how to navigate between both sides. So though you can go to Coppermoonshinestills.com and read his information, which I'm going to be portraying here next with his permission. He's already given me that. Do not email him in concerns his information, because he's not going to respond. Just to forewarn you ahead of time, he does not have the time to do that. He's going to actually tell you to come back to my channel, because that's just what it is. But he has updated his process. We're going to throw in what he's done in his process and what I've done in my process, which was based off of his. And we're going to combine all of them in this video. So this really should be a pretty hot video. Now, once again, a shameless promotion for him is that he actually has a band called Earl Delaney and the Blue Cats. And you can find out his channel and information, his gigs, and support him either by buying a moonshine still made out of copper, or by checking him out at bluecats.band. So it's bluecats.band, or band. All right. Now, most of this stuff is going to be in Arkansas. It looks like he does provide some free admission. So he's got all of his dates and times up there. So please support him any kind of way you guys can. And if you do reach out to him through his bluecats.band, you can tell him that the Bad Wolf sent you, and that, I tell him hello, even though we pretty much talk almost every other day through text messages at this point in time. All right, so without further ado, let's pop up the video. I'm gonna have my lovely AI assistant read off his information. So this will be a slightly longer video, but it will be good because, well, he knows what he's doing. He's definitely a shaman in this area. So All right, getting her set up. And without further ado, let's get back to, or let's get over to the, here we go. There we go. Found it. All right. This handsome young lad over here in the upper left corner is Mr. Colonel Von Wilson himself, Mr. Blue Cats himself. All right. So we're here. It says beat the law with the state citizen passport, diplomatic immunity. Okay. Now, why would you say something like that? Because when you are outside of someone's jurisdiction by use of a private entity, the passport done properly, you are out of their jurisdiction. Now, this does not mean that you have true, let me say this correctly, you can do anything you want and get away with it type of immunity. This means if you're not bothering anybody and you're operating with the card and you are distancing yourself from anything that is considered public with your ens legis or straw man name, which is actually a state-created trust, then you do have a level of diplomatic immunity. But remember, public safety is always the highest regard. So if you are, in fact, doing something illegal or a crime, you can still be arrested. If you do not know how to stand on your rights properly, they will still arrest you. I've seen them arrest FBI agents until they proved who and what they were and all that. So a lot of these private, as conveyed to me by the state, private police officers, and I don't mean the ones at the club, I mean the ones down the street you see on these police cars, those are actually private entities operating over public U.S. citizens. Okay, they are sanctioned to be there through their agreements and contracts to do what they're doing, but they are not ultimate law. Sheriffs, if they're in their proper capacity and operating good under the Constitution as they are supposed to be, some are not. I've personally heard some horror stories about sheriffs doing some unconstitutional things, some of them even my way, but we've dealt with it since then, haven't we, boys? Okay. So once again, I love all law enforcement, no matter private, public, whatever else, as long as they are upholding true law and the Constitution, and they're not infringing upon my America rights and yours. So as you see here on his website, he sells different size stills. And right here on Coppermoonshinestills.com, the last option here is state citizen passport, beat the law. Okay. Many people have used this information and created their own YouTube things, but this is where it all came from. All right. So let's get going.
Beat the law with a state citizen passport. Diplomatic immunity. Silver bullet to your rights secured by the Constitution. A treatise on state citizenship. Diplomatic immunity. This information is also posted at www.coppermoonshinestills.com,
which is where we're at now.
This treatise contains standing case law on citizenship and a 2-page example on how to fill out the passport form. Free yourself from tyranny. Everyone has tried many complicated and time-consuming things to retrieve their rights that are secured by our constitutions, and to stop unconstitutional traffic tickets, taxes, prosecutions, foreclosures, depriving you of your Second Amendment right to arms and lawsuits. I will not go into all that has been tried, happened, and failed. It would be too time-consuming, and most would not understand. I will give a brief description of how this works. When you got your social security number, either you or your mom or dad checked off that you were a U.S. citizen on the SS5 application. And then you continued to claim to be a U.S. citizen throughout your life and did so on all of the government forms and applications, which caused you to pay taxes, get tickets, and every other act of treason that has happened to you. The U.S. in this case is the federal corporation, the District of Columbia, also known as USDC or the United States. It was created by the Congressional Act of 1871. Also see 28 U.S.C. 3002. 15. United States means a federal corporation. So a U.S. citizen is a citizen of this federal corporation, and not a union state or USA republic. So now it's easy to see that a U.S. citizen is a legal fiction/U.S. corporation and has no rights secured by the Constitution. Only people have rights secured by the Constitution, not legal fictions. You should have checked off other on the form because you are a state citizen that you were born in, which is referred to in Article 3 and the 11th Amendment of the Constitution, which is the same as a citizen of the United States as penned in Article 1 and 2 of the Constitution. That you were born in, which makes you a citizen of all states, and one of the people, and a beneficiary of the Republic USA Constitution of 1789/1791. A state citizen is a citizen of the United States, but not the same as a 14th Amendment citizen of the United States. And the 14th Amendment fell 2 states short of being ratified, so it does not lawfully exist. A 14th Amendment citizen is born in the untied states, which is a federal territory and subject to Congress. This is not the same as being born in one of the several states of the Union. The United States of America is the de jure republic government, not the United States, which is the corporation. The preamble to the Constitution establishes the United States of America, not the United States. So we have 2 different and distinct national governments. This treachery has always been the goal of the enemy. See case law. The idea prevails with some, indeed it has expression in arguments at the bar, that we have in this country substantially 2 national governments, one to be maintained under the Constitution, with all its restrictions, the other to be maintained by Congress outside and independently of that instrument, by exercising such powers as other nations of the earth are accustomed to. I take leave to say that, if the principles thus announced should ever receive the sanction of a majority of this court, a radical and mischievous change in our system will result. We will, in that event, pass from the era of constitutional liberty guarded and protected by a written constitution into an era of legislative absolutism. It will be an evil day for American liberty if the theory of a government outside the supreme law of the land finds lodgment in our constitutional jurisprudence. No higher duty rests upon this court than to exert its full authority to prevent all violation of the principles of the Constitution. Honorable Supreme Court Justice John Harlan in the 1901 case of Downs v. Bidwell, it's all about your citizenship. It's that simple. See case law, taxpayers are not, de jure, state citizens. Belmont versus Town of Gulfport, 122 so.
Did you guys hear that? State citizens, so when you're in your proper capacity, you are not a taxpayer. Period. Belmont versus Town of Gulfport. This is case law. It's been established. Watch my video on how to not pay taxes if you decide to, or how to reduce them. Take it away, my lovely assistant.
So, 10 U.S.V. Anthony 24 Federal 829, 1873, the term resident and citizen of the United States, this means 14th Amendment citizen, is distinguished from a citizen of one of the several states, in that the former is a special class of citizen created by Congress. So you can see in the above case citations that there are 2 national governments. More case law on citizenship listed at the end. You are all below point 1. A state citizen which is born in one of the several states of the Union, not the United States. See Article 3 and the 11th Amendment of the Constitution 2. A citizen of the United States is penned in Article 1 and 2 of the Constitution. Notice that when you signed up to vote, it asked if you were a citizen of the United States. This is the only citizen that can vote. 3. A non-citizen national. This wording also applies to those born in the unincorporated islands of the United States. You are not any of the below. 1. You are not a United States citizen, which is a legal fiction and a franchise citizen of the Federal Corporation United States, District of Columbia. This one does not have any constitutional rights. Notice when you filled out your voter registration, it did not ask if you were a United States citizen, because a United States citizen cannot vote. 2. You are not a United States national, which is also a legal fiction. This one also does not have any rights. 3. You are not a 14th Amendment citizen. This is someone born in the United States territory and Congress has authority over, and does not have all rights guaranteed by the Constitution. See how it is worded, born or naturalized in the United States, and subject to the jurisdiction thereof, are citizens of the United States. 4. And of course you are not an alien. So to reclaim your citizenship, you need to certify your citizenship by getting a passport as a state citizen. Your birth certificate that is required for your passport is proof that you are a state citizen and is your title and deed to your rights secured by our founding documents.
Now, the only thing I'll interject here, which is slightly different than how we do ours, is that if you do have a heirloom county authenticated live birth document, you're good. If you have a certificate of live birth, you're also good. But if you have a state-created green portrait version with very little information about your parents, signatures, doctors' times, that is a document that needs to be authenticated on either the state or federal level. You don't have to do all three. You don't have to do all two. You need to do at least one of them. If you're in a state like California or New York who does not authenticate, you only apostille or certify, okay, then you can get a certified copy or certified version. That would be fine. Or else you just want to authenticate it. You've got a number of videos on authenticating. So that would be the only thing that I personally would add in here. That doesn't mean doing it this particular way. I'm just trying to clarify, having the experience with the department to know that a true state-created birth certificate is, in fact, a state-created trust as a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. They've sent us back proof. So that'd be the only thing that I would change here. Otherwise, everything else is on point.
Documents. It is on bond paper and you are the bondholder/beneficiary. However, you will not find the term state citizen on government forms because they are deceptively hiding it from the public. They use terms such as citizen of the United States, non-citizen national, national, or other. When you get your passport, it will look like any other and say that your nationality is the United States of America. This is true if you are a state citizen, 14th Amendment citizen, or a U.S. citizen. They do this to hide what they are doing. Remember that the U.S. citizen is a legal fiction, a U.S. corporation with no rights. A 14th.
Now, the only difference here is that when they mention here, when he mentions no rights, they have similar rights, but not the same rights as a natural living person or a living being, human being in the private. They have mirrored versions of it, but not the exact same.
14th Amendment citizen has little rights.
Right.
A state citizen has absolute freedom and liberty protected by our founding documents.
Yes, sir.
You are not a legal fiction, nor a U.S. corporation/U.S. citizen, nor are you a 14th Amendment citizen. You are a state citizen of the state you were born in, which makes you a citizen of all of the states. And
okay, so right here, we're going to pause for one moment because what I want to do is show you guys this particular part for those who haven't watched my other videos. A lot of you guys right now might be like, oh, well, that sounds all good and dandy, but prove to me that, that this, what's a state citizen? Well, in every state that you have lived in, you'll hear a familiar term. Like in Texas, you're called a what? Texan, right? You've heard the term before. Wisconsin, Wisconsinite, Florida, Floridian, New York, New Yorker, New Yorker. That is actually your nationality. And the government has a specific book where they prove it to us, but you have to find it. So right now, I'm going to take you guys over to, right now I'm on Bing, no connection. I'm searching for U.S. government publishing Office Styles Manual, or the GPO Styles Manual. All right, so I'm going to head there now. I did that search, and I'm going to prove this to you guys beyond a shadow of a doubt right now. All right, get over to share screen. Okay. Right here. Styles Manual, an official guide to the form and style of the federal government publishing. See, everything they do has to be in a manual somewhere as to why they're doing it. And look right here in tiny words, lettering, authenticated, meaning factual, real, American, not de facto. Keeping America informed. See, they're not going to do the work for you. You left heaven, or your parents allowed you to leave heaven as an infant and left you on hell's doorstep, which would be the state of. So if you don't know where to look and to find it, or you don't trust the information because you feel some type of way, or you listen to somebody inside of hell telling you, no, don't listen to them, come to us. Sounds awfully like the guy in the van with no candy. I mean, they always promise candy, but they usually don't. Anyway, so up here in the corner, I'm going to do a quick search. So I typed in the word Texan. Now look at this. Now, if you get my explanatory statement, which is optional, but is a good packet of information to have for yourself, for court use, or for your passport application, this bit of information and more in codes comes along with it, okay? Including the proper code to put on your passport application. But right here, look at this. So nationalities, which is plural for the word national. Within the word national is the word nation. And the word nation represents natural. So if we pop right here, it says, in designating the what? Natives of the states. This means, in fact, you are Native American. You are native to America. You were born here. You are native to America. You might have African or whatever ancestry, but you are a Native American with just that, African or European or whatever ancestry, but you are a Native American first. Now that you know that you're a Native American, you can now see and understand that the government recognizes you in the private as a native of the several states. They refer to America as the states or the several states or the geographical United States or the continental United States of America. So being born here in the private first, this is what you are. This is what makes you a state citizen. All of them together then make you a national. So if you're born in Texas, you're a Texan. Born in Wisconsin, you're a Wisconsinite. California, Californian. This is actually when you should be checking off other and putting in Californian as your nationality. But now if you're representing your strawman, the all caps name, then yes, you can operate it as a U.S. citizen because it is a U.S. citizen. You are not. You have a document that allows you to represent or represent yourself as a U.S. citizen. But if you weren't born in Washington, D.C., or one of its direct territories, then you are in fact a private national and a native of the states. Do you feel me? Do you understand what I'm saying now? Yeah, I want you guys to go and get your own GPO Styles Manual. Go online and get it. Find it for yourself. Now we're going to get back to your regularly scheduled program. Let's check out the other video. Hold on, I got to find the page. Okay, there it is. So we just proved that what this man said is accurate. You are a state citizen. All right? That comes from the government. That's the government's printing manual. It's official. The government has ultimate super authority. They've got constitutional law, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights. They are actual law. What states are doing is codes and legislation. It's legislative. It is civil. Citus, meaning of the city-state. They have made you a member of their PMA, Private Members Association. That's why outside people cannot just come here and join it, because it's private. If it was public, truly public, even though they use the word public, everybody would be able to join it. And they can't, because that would be immigration. Boom. What? That's for Bruce Lee. All right, let's get back to it. All right, my lovely assistant, Joe, I'm going to call her. Take it away.
And a non-citizen national and a citizen of the United States as penned in Article 1 and 2 of the Constitution. Fill out the application in black ink as per the instructions. The main things to remember on the passport form is to 1. Put in your social security number. Before, we did not put in the social security number or simply put in all zeros. The older forms said the social security number is voluntary in the instructions of the application. It still is voluntary and a felony for them to demand it. See 42 U.S.C. 408A8. But if you leave it off, they may deny you the passport and keep your money. It does not matter that you give it to them. Even if they took the application, they will write your SS number on the form somewhere. So write in your social security number.
All right, so the update to this from how we do our things is that if you don't want to use the social, you have to have an affidavit that says specifically, and I believe it's on Black Site 32 in my free document files, or it's also in one of my explanatory statement pack as of now. And your statement would go along the lines of, if this is your in fact truth, you would say, I have not applied for, nor have I signed and received a social security number. Okay? Because in all actuality, legally, your parents did. But if you decide you do not want to, be prepared that you might have some pushback. But if you want to do it without your social, we have done these. They do go through, but you will need a signed and notarized affidavit stating those facts. Okay, I would still put in all zeros in the Social Security spot and then proceed. Now, the majority of us, myself included, we've used our social, so it goes through either way. It's your preference depending on your truth and perspective. Okay, I'm just preparing you for all the ins and outs of it. So let's continue.
Number 2. This is the most important thing to do. All of the other stuff I mentioned does not really matter. It's only a way to make them pay close attention to your application. Every place that it asks if someone is a U.S. citizen, mom, dad, or spouse or ex-spouse, you check off no. If you check off yes to U.S. citizen on anything, then that makes you a U.S. citizen.
This is fact.
Otherwise, you are a state citizen. No one is a U.S. citizen. Not you, or your spouse, or your ex-spouse, or your mom, dad, or children. This is the most important step. No to U.S. citizen on everything. Make sure you get this right. This is the only thing that matters on the application. Do not let them bully you into checking off yes to U.S. citizenship. 3. Put in care of, with the mailing address and use the standard mailing address with zip code. This means that this is merely where you receive your mail and you do not live in their jurisdiction. And for the permanent address, use RFD or Rural Free Delivery for the address and then the city and state. Then use all zeros for the zip code. This means that you live in the Republic and not in any fictional jurisdiction. If they force you to put something else in, then do it. It is only a way to make them pay close attention to your application. That you checked off no to all questions on U.S. citizenship. Additional things you can do is 4. Put without prejudice above your signature.
So though you can do this, I do not recommend it. Some of these agents get really hostile when you do that. Some seem to not care. So this is at your own leisure. I do recommend having an explanatory statement, which you can either create your own or get one of mine or whatever else. In there, we have without prejudice, and we have that. Now, this is only good when you do the original DS11 for the first time, or if you've lost your old one or it was stolen and you do a new DS11, they will not allow you to add an explanatory statement to the DS82 because it's only an update and it's not an open account. When it's open, you're doing it for the first time or after everything's expired or whatever, then the new account, they will let you do it with adding new statements with it, and only the explanatory statement. They will not, do not send them anything with the word affidavit. They do not like those. Okay, let's go.
Signature. This ensures that you are not a legal fiction and are not contracting away your rights. Although this should not be needed as a state citizen. 5. Expedite your passport.
Optional.
The faster you get it, the faster you will be free.
But it doesn't hurt.
In addition, the State Department will delay your passport to the maximum allotted time otherwise. They do not want you to have it. 6. Do not include affidavits of citizenship with your application or underline non-citizen national.
And do not circle it either.
You will be denied. Do not sign it until you are in front of the acceptance agent. They are not allowed to refuse your application or make any changes. To do so is a crime. You can report the person to the U.S. Attorney General. What if you already have a passport? Even if you already have a passport from before or have a current passport, you can get a new passport with this method by doing another DS11. And yes, you have to put down on the application that you had one in the past and show the old passport with the application or fill out a lost form.
Now, some people have had no problems with their existing one and doing a new DS11, but by law, you can only have one passport at a time. So for some, this went through no problem. And for others, this part did not go through. So it's one of the reasons why we push to either let it expire, or if you happen to lose it, then you can do a new DS11. All right, so use this part as you see fit and, kind of go from there. All right, let's keep going.
Form. It does not matter what you put on the previous passport. You are updating your information. Sometimes the State Department will write a passport holder that they are being denied because they already have a passport. I'm not sure, but I think they have updated your information at that point, that you are a state citizen, and your current passport most likely shows that when the information is run. Anyone who is denied a passport for various reasons, such as back child support and ECT, are still protected. It seems their information is updated. And some folks have told me that they were made eligible about 3 or 4 months after applying and being denied because of back child support. I have also found that so far, even if someone is out on parole, bond, or probation, they can get one too without arrest and stop further harassment. But if you fill it out wrong, they will arrest you the next day. I seen it happen. Check off no to all questions on U.S. citizenship. I personally have done all of the above for myself and others. Note. It is rumored that the State Department will require proof of travel, such as a visa or other proof of travel. This is because the enemy is in panic. They do not want their slaves to escape. It's merely a way to discourage you from getting this type of passport. And most countries do not require a visa for Americans. So if this becomes the case, I suggest you simply make a hotel reservation for a night or two across the border in Canada or someplace. Then print off a copy of the reservation for proof to include with your application.
All right, so it goes on to say you can always cancel a reservation after you get the passport if you change your mind and you're not able to go. Wink, wink. All right, so here you can either choose book, card, or both. The book is usually right around $160. Passport card's about $30. I recommend putting everything in all lowercase lettering. Okay, now the one exception here is that here where it says END, which stands for endorsement code, the proper code that goes here is 09ALL, 09 all. Okay, when I first started my channel, this was one of the big secrets that we had in our explanatory statements, along with other codes, and we didn't know where it went. We were told we were supposed to use the code, we didn't know where. We didn't even know what the code was. So now we know, right here. This is another method to add to this particular way of doing the passport, right here. Don't put anything in the expire. Don't put anything over here or up here. Leave this all empty for them to fill in. Just you put your code here. All right. I made a video on how we found the code, what the code means. It means state citizen. All right. So I don't think she's going to read through all this. So do not underline or circle non-citizen national without prejudice or UCC 1-308. You can put it here, but sometimes they freak out. It's not needed, but it's good. But I personally would say, if you're going to do this, then leave it blank first. Once they have you swear in, put your name down, and then slide in this information. Do not do it beforehand. As seen here, you're going to check off no to mom, no to dad, and number 11, this is for you. You're going to check off no. These three places have to be checked off. Here for permanent address, yes, rule-free delivery, all zeros. I usually have people put the city and then comma the state right here. I usually have them put a little line through here, or if you're going to use the box, do not use the 2-digit abbreviation, use the 3 for the Republic, which is TEX, or Arkansas ARK, or Wisconsin WIS, and all zeros. Okay? Backing up, the only other difference, I usually put for mom and dad, city, state, and then USA behind it. Backing up, country, I usually put USA or America right here. Place of birth, I put city, country right here. Okay.
You can always cancel the reservation after you get your passport if you change your mind or not able to go. Traps to avoid. Point 1. Do not put down that you are a U.S. citizen on anything. Usually the proper choice given is citizen of the United States, non-citizen national, or other. They used to have places on the form to check off state citizen, but not anymore. Yes, they make it as confusing as possible. Or the form may only have a yes or no question if you are a U.S. citizen. Check off no. Checking off no to U.S. citizenship does not prevent you from benefits or rights. If you are registered to vote, you still can vote. Because you are asked if you are a citizen of the untied states. 2. Your social security number is voluntary. But again, if you do not put it on the passport application, or you will be denied. So it does not hurt you to use it if you need to. But it is a felony for anyone to compel your social security number from you. C. 42 U.S.C. 408A8. I am told that you can get an EIN number for banking purposes only. Then use that with your passport to get a bank account. Do not give them your SS number when getting an EIN number, or it will be denied. 3. Always put the phrase "without prejudice" with your signature. State citizens do not have to do this. But it sure does not hurt. It means you are not giving up any rights or otherwise contracting. See UCC 1-308, which was formerly UCC 1-207. When you get a job, fill out the I-9 form. Check off citizen of the United States, and I know folks who have also checked off non-citizen national with no consequence. You can use your social security number here if you wish, but the form itself says it is voluntary. And they may hold out SS but not taxes. But you do not have to. The employer has the choice of your passport for ID or both your DL and SS card. Use your passport for ID. Claiming state citizen does not prevent you from getting any benefits from anything. Sign everything with the phrase without prejudice. I, as well as others, do not use the W-4 or W-9 form for tax withholding. We use the W-8 BEN. Some employers will not accept it and demand a W-4 or W-9. But it is illegal for them to demand it. But it seems most employers will and should accept the W-8 BEN. You do not have to file taxes. If you feel uneasy about not paying taxes, you can continue to pay them and see how your passport works for you. But you are only feeding the USDC beast that is enslaving the country. When you buy a gun and fill out the form, do not check off that you have renounced your U.S. citizenship. You never were a U.S. citizen, so there is no citizenship to renounce. I have bought plenty of guns since, and used my passport for ID rather than a state ID. Again, not everyone understands this. So some gun dealers are apprehensive. Just tell them to run the application. If anything is wrong, they will deny it. Which has never happened with anyone I know. And interestingly, many have reported buying guns outside of their state with no problem, as it should be. Never put down you live in the United States. You live in the United States of America, USA.
One thing to keep in mind, guys, this is all as everything is on my site and on my other social media platforms, videos, files, all education, entertainment, informational purposes only. You guys are fully full-size adults, grown. You can do what you want to do. This is not legal advice. Just somebody from a non-belligerent, non-combatant treaty of the United States, Lord and Master of Levitica. Long live the King James. Badwolf. With that being said, we're going to keep going. All right. Thanks for listening. It's rock and roll.
USA. Or simply say you live in America. On lots of forms you will see United States, but they do not make it clear if it's the federal corporation or the republic. I believe if it asks what country you live in, then it must be the republic, not the corporation. The corporation is not a country. You find this all through the United States Code and the Code of Federal Regulations for the purpose of confusion. So study carefully to see what they mean by the United States. Once you receive your passport, you should never have to pay income taxes. You can carry any gun. You should not get tickets. But keep your nose clean on traffic tickets. About 10 of the states will try and war with you on traffic tickets to fool you into believing they still have jurisdiction. But if you fight them one time with an affidavit of treason and deprivation of rights under color of law, you may never get another one. You also do not need licenses, permits, and fees, and the bills of exchange will work if properly served. And they cannot come after you for unsecured debt. You may get a few letters for not paying debt, but you cannot be sued for it. Simply send back any summons with a cease and desist letter as mentioned later. Or better, do not answer it. They cannot even get a default judgment. The only thing you cannot do is cause injury. They can arrest you for causing injury to someone. And anyone that causes injury needs to be arrested. Even though you can do all these things, I highly recommend that you do not shove it in their face. Be on good behavior and do not draw attention to yourself. Also give any police officer a friendly chance to discover who you are. Hand him whatever he asks for. Most usually you will not get a ticket in most states except for about 10 at this time. I'll address that later. If you a ticket in one of the other 40 states, sign it without prejudice and forget it. Do not go to court. There is nothing they can lawfully do. Do not go to court. There is nothing they can lawfully do. Several law enforcement officials have confirmed for me that when they pull someone over that is red flag or restricted because of the state citizen passport, that they have no jurisdiction to arrest them or write tickets.
Yeah.
But they are told to write the ticket anyway and let the court handle it. They have no idea what happened. Nothing did happen. Do not pay the ticket. Do not go to court.
Now, the only difference that I will add in there, because this is kind of like my specialty, is that if your vehicle is not in accordance with the state and you're still using their license plates, your vehicle still registered, you still have their driver's license. In fact, they can still give you a hard time and write tickets because you have not removed your vehicle and whatnots into the private. You do not have to do right to travel. It is a personal choice, and you have to be prepared that you might still yet get your stuff towed or bothered, especially if you have not done it the full way. So I highly suggest you watch my lives on right to travel so you have all the most updated information on how to do it the proper way and create your travel binder, put people on notice, and then operate privately. But like my man said here, don't shove it in their face. Don't be a belligerent or combatant. Don't think you're going to just get away with, speeding or other crazy things, because those are still rules that apply to everybody who uses the roads, because everybody has a right to public safety and privacy and not to have their stuff messed up. Okay. All right. Let's go, Joe.
Court. However, there are now currently 10 or so states that I know of where the shadow government/deep state criminals has taken over, and sometimes will instruct the officer to give you a ticket. At this moment in time, they are Arkansas, Missouri, Colorado, Minnesota, Hawaii, Oregon, Arizona, Alabama, Texas, and a couple others I cannot think of. I didn't know what was going on at first, but we found out from a government official that the State Department has not been putting people all the way over to state citizen status for the past few years.
This is what we call the red zone. This is usually what we attributed on our own research, that is the 3-star passport. They don't want you all the way over there yet because they want to see how you're going to move and operate with it before getting you over there. Don't worry. This information still works, even with the 3, but the 3 still, from our own research, we believe means that you are red zoned and that you are still arrestable. Okay, because they're saying you're in both jurisdictions, your upper and lower case name, essentially, capitis medius. All right, so let's keep going.
Years. Unlawful, of course. But they put you over to red flag status for an unknown amount of time. Then if there are no incidents, they put you over to state citizen status. The difference is only concerning traffic tickets. Everything else, such as taxes and lawsuits, are still the same. Do not worry about that. Since the passport removes your SS number and name from all of the government attack systems, they cannot not come after you that way. So they attack the driver's license itself. They suspend the license and put a warrant on the license. They will not arrest you, but will continue to pile up the fines and warrants. Then when you apply for a job, all of that stuff pops up, and you cannot get a job. Now you do not need a license any longer, and some have chosen to turn theirs in. And the passport is all they hand the cop when pulled over. I know them. C. The acceptance of a license, in whatever form, will not impose upon the licensee an obligation to respect or to comply with any provision of the statute or with the regulations prescribed that are repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. W. Cargill CO of V, State of Minnesota, 180 U.S. 452, 1901, 180 U.S. 452. Also C. Speeding, running stop signs, traveling without license plates, or registration are not threats to the public safety, and thus are not arrestable offenses. Christie.
Okay, so the only thing I'll add here is that though they did, this is in fact factual information, what they're basically saying here is that you do have the right to operate privately, and yes, you can go a little faster than, the normal speed limits, but that does not mean speed. That does not mean racing. That does not mean that they won't pull you over and stop you and try to take away your vehicle. Okay. If they really want to push the matter and you become a public threat or a problem, they will take it to federal court, and the court will side with them because you're endangering public safety. So yes, you have the freedom to do these things and operate privately, but you cannot endanger public safety. Cannot. It's no different than in the old days where they chased after a bear or a lion or a tiger or a dragon, because you're endangering people. The good people have a right to be left alone, safe, and just live without you speeding by and doing crazy stuff. So do not speed. All you're doing is making it harder on everybody else who are operating privately and good. Don't be that guy.
Christie versus Elliott, 216 I-131, 74 He 1035, LRANS 1905 to 1910. Many, including me, have reported that the 9-digit number on the passport lets them buy insurance, escape sales tax, buy guns, get an international driver's permit, and etc. I and my family at this time have car insurance using only the number under the picture on the passport card. Do not give them your SS number, or it will link up your state driver's licenses. Most people have found that by using the 9 digits on the passport card, that their auto insurance is 20% to 50% cheaper. Mine is about 25% cheaper. Not all insurance companies will do this. It seems to be about 7 out of 10. And you cannot do this online. You have to call the insurance company by phone. You cannot get insurance on your car if it is not registered. But then again, if you have the state citizen passport and have turned your license in for a state ID, then you do not need to buy insurance. And you can call the county assessor and unregister your car or truck. Tell them you no longer have it. This takes your car completely out of their jurisdiction. I would leave the plates on so that the police car's automatic license plate readers can still read the plate. And
now here's where I would differ. I would create your own private plate. I would put your vehicle in a private trust, an irrevocable trust, which means it's foreign, non-taxable, and private. The name of that trust is going to go on the top of the plate. You then contact the DMV and inform them that the vehicle has been transferred to a private trust and give them the name of that. That's it.
And there would be less chance of getting pulled over. Now, in full disclosure, I personally have not turned in my license or unregistered any of my cars. But I am never bothered.
Now, keep in mind, this is Colonel Von Wilson. This is not me. I've unregistered all my stuff, given back all the licenses, pulled everything out, and we talked about that in another video. Okay, but he's saying for him, this doing it his way has worked for him. And if you want to utilize this information, do that, operate that way for yourself, you are more than likely or more than capable of doing it. It's up to you. I just have found, at least in my particular state or states, that they don't play that here. If you have their plate on there, you're driving, and that's fraud. So for us here, this doesn't work. All right, but if it works in his state in Arkansas, that is great. You're gonna have to find your own way. All right, see what works for you.
Bothered. They know I will put up a fight. And just like any criminal, they are terrified of an armed victim.
Now, in their area, his state, because he's already put them to task, they might leave him alone because he knows how to fight them with these particular materials and things in place. All right. So if you're not there yet, this avenue might not be the best way for you to proceed. The way we do it thus far takes all of that extra fight you might have to do off the table, because the paperwork is going to speak for yourself. And of course, he did do most of this information a long time ago. I don't personally know where he's at with this, but he did say he updated this page. So knowing him, he's probably still rolling this way. But see, they also have a healthy, I don't want to say fear, but we'll say a healthy legal level of respect, because he knows how to go upside their head and down the crack of their AZZ. So, he's accomplished in the game.
Victim. I've taken them to task many times, and they have not bothered me in about 5 or so years. But I cannot guarantee that you will not run into a corrupt official.
There you go.
So here is how I helped a friend put the hurt on some corrupt officials in Arkansas.
Educational information
If you
only.
want to keep your license, and you live in one of these states that will write you a ticket, then simply show up for court with at least one witness. This will give you 2 witnesses, including you. The more the better, and your birth certificate. Continue to show your birth certificate and say you are a state citizen. Dismiss this case. Ask for the performance bond. This is the bond that you file a claim on for your injuries. You have been injured in that you are being deprived rights under color of law 18 U.S.C. 241 and 18 U.S.C. 242, and also here is a little jewel I just recently found. 18 U.S. Code Section 1545. Safe conduct violation. Whoever violates any safe conduct or passport duly obtained and issued under authority of the United States shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 10 years, or both. Do not get yourself into contempt with a corrupt judge. Do not plea. Pleading perfects the jurisdiction of the court. And do not take a plea bargain. If the judge runs over you, then you and your witness can write an affidavit of high crimes and treason committed by whoever the judge, cop, and prosecutor are, by however many witnesses you have. At least 2, and the more the better. Make a couple of notarized copies and file one with the county. Then get about 7 or 8 certified copies from the county and send the complaints to the FBI, DOJ, Secret Service, President, and etc. Then do not answer any suit that comes your way. Typically, it is stupid for them to sue you if you have at least 2 witnesses because it now become a part of a court record, and they must be prosecuted. This ruins their government career forever, because it comes up on all background searches. It is also acts as a lease pendens lien on all of their property and assets. They will not be able to sell their property or borrow money. But reserve this for half the cases. We only did this because they would not relent. I typically find the state officials will do nothing to help you. They seem to be the most corrupt. Also, you can file a lease pendens lien or a flat-out line on the case number and its bonds, including the performance bond. Never file a lien on personal property. Only the case number and its bonds, bonds of officials and their oaths of office. You can also get a foreign driver's license with an IDP by writing this email address. notnow9-abe@yahoo.com. Always use the passport for your ID where possible. Some places will give you a hard time while buying a gun and etc. But once they run it, they are surprised to find that they can sell you one. You can order the passport card, book, or both. If money is an object, I highly recommend that you order the card to carry in your wallet or purse. It's cheaper. When the officer runs your ID, she will see your status and has to let you go, unless you live in one of the aforementioned 10 states. The status most law enforcement sees on your background check is similar to the following: restricted, not stop, do not detain, do not interrogate. Lifetime concealed weapons permit. The latter is to mislead the officer on why you may have a gun on you. You have your Second Amendment rights back. I always try to educate the officer on citizenship, but their overseers mislead them from the truth. No police officer or other official will confirm that you are on the red flag or restricted list. I don't care if you have known the officer personally for 20 years and live next door to him. They will not confirm that there is anything different about your information. They do not confirm anything for me, and they will not for you. Now, I do not completely blame the law officers for their actions. They have been brainwashed by the truly evil people in government, elected officials, the Bar Association, and bankers. So it's a little unfair to them, because they have so badly been misled. But they still have an oath of office, so there is no excuse for their behavior. If you are in law enforcement and reading this, I hope you will look at your oath of office and then the constitutions you have sworn to uphold. dig for the answers, and educate yourself. I have a great respect for peace officers that actually protects the people and puts their lives on the line for others. But I have no such feeling for those who violate their oath of office or cause trouble for people when there is not injured party as required by the common law. C. For a crime to exist, there must be an injured party. There can be no sanction or penalty imposed upon one because of this exercise of constitutional rights. Jure versus Cullen, 481 F. 945. I have received a passport using this method, and so have many others using this method. I don't pay income taxes, I do not get tickets, I do not have to register things or get permits or licenses, and I am left alone for the most part. I do get a fishing license from Arkansas because I like the work they do with the money. And it's cheap. And I got it with my passport, not a state ID. But I never sign it. So weigh your options. Some folks get rid of their driver's licenses and deregister their cars. But some employers require one. Uber, for example. I do not suggest any of this one way or the other. Decide for yourself to what extent you want to go and how much you want to fight. I have found this to be the silver bullet. It is the difference between night and day. Some foreclosures are stopped cold because they cannot collect debt against a state citizen valued in anything other than gold and silver coin. But if you are in a non-judicial foreclosure state, it could be a different story. See U.S.A. Constitution Article 1 Section 10. Federal Reserve notes are not gold and silver coin. Prison sentences for those out on bond have gone away, real estate taxes have disappeared, and I can go on and on. But experiences do differ throughout America. Sometimes warrants go away. Sometimes they do not. But they are supposed to. Anything you have in controversy before you get the state citizen passport may persist afterward.
All right. So that part right there is why some people have the passport card or book. And I made the video, can you still be arrested when you're on the do not detain list? Because what did he say here? Anything you have in controversy before you get the passport may persist afterwards because you have not remedied, closed, and taken care of that controversy. Unfortunately, even though you're technically like running over like the safe line or jumping on your porch like when we were kids, I'm safe, I'm on base, can't touch me here. Well, the problem is that that's not a real space for you to really run because we're in the same pot together. And if you have not closed out your other stuff, you can use this as leverage, but at the same time, you didn't close out and finish or pay off your controversy. So those contracts are still in play. They still have access to you. You're not physically over in Canada to be like, nana boo-boo, okay? So you have to close those things out.
If it does, and you can, settle it. Then you are free and clear. See how the passport works for you on small things before you go to bigger things. This treatise is not to be taken as legal advice, and I do not accept any liability for what you do with the information. Please do not share this treatise with those of questionable morals.
All right. So that is it. That is the passport process. That is the updated version from Colonel Von Wilson's Coppermoonshinestills website. You can go there yourself and read the information, like I said, but do not email him and bother him with that. He only wants to talk about either his bands or his band or his moonshine stills. Do not bother him in advance, all right? He's way too busy for that. He enjoys his privacy and quiet. So he's not going to respond. And if he does and you make mention, he's probably going to be a little gruff and tell you, go talk to the Badwolf. All right. So I love that dude. He's an awesome man. So if you're watching, brother, or some of your people, because I know some of them watch my channel as well, thank you guys for supporting. That's really about it. Like I said, we've covered this. I just wanted to make an updated video because he had made mention that he had. And so I told him I would do a video on the updates, information, and of course his band. So without further ado, guys, you guys take care. And I will be bringing you guys more fire videos as we move forward. Thank you for sharing the channel. If you have not shared the channel, share the channel. If you have not hit that bell icon, subscribe. Well, hit that bell icon, subscribe. And well, this is what helps me to keep the lights on and be able to keep researching this information and materials. And we have a lot more coming up for you guys. All right. Ron Gibson finally got his book, You Are Not a Slave, on how to deal with private property tax information. So we're kicking it with some of the fire gurus in the industry. Also got this book here, The Uncorporation, meaning you're unincorporated. We've got information on some of the minutia, quantum syntax grammar, how things are pieced together, why if they follow certain formats, what their formats are, how to look at their tickets and things and see if you can find any things that are not in compliance and void the tickets, along with also the Chicago Manual of Styles, the Essential Guide for Writers, Editors, and Publishers. Okay, so these are how they put things together by their own law. Okay, so that's it, guys. Hopefully found that information fire and entertaining, as I always tried to bring you guys. I can make 50,000 videos, but I'm not going to go through every little thing. I want to bring you guys stuff that you can use on a daily basis, stuff that actually works, things that I've done. And whether it's my information or somebody else's, guys, always vet the information. Make sure that it's valid. If you're not sure about a file or a form, contact the company, contact the agency, the municipality. And even if they don't know who you're talking to, talk to the manager above them. Don't just listen to somebody on YouTube or wherever else, because you don't know who that person really is. You don't know what they've been through. You don't know if they're an agent, counterintelligence, maybe there's special needs or they're misguided. Vet the information. Okay? That's to protect you guys. So, welcome to the winter season. And so our fall, finter, we'll call it finter. It's like, still got some leaves on the trees, but it's snowing here in the Midwest. So stay warm, wise, woke, and aware. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you for all the people who are helping me to build my TikTok channel. I've got two. One's more private, and it's just James C Lovett, because it's not private anymore. The other one is the Badwolf. So you can actually add me on either one, whatever. I will not deny you. Once again, if you guys do reach out, know that I don't, if I pick your email or comment to say hi to, it's cool. I don't owe anybody to communicate with you. I will do my best as I see it, but even still for me, I have little time when communicating, because I'm doing other stuff always. I'm always busy. I'm always in the books. I'm always trying to be with family and friends and enjoy this life around the Great Ball of Fire. If somebody reaches out to you and you're not sure it's me, make sure you go to blacksite32.com and see if it's actually one of my specifically exactly spelled usernames or sites that I'm on. Some people have been trying to pretend to be me and getting a couple of bucks from people here and there. So I will never ask you for money, ever. Everything is through blacksite32. That is it. If it's not on that website, it is probably not me. If you see anybody using any of my images, logos, names, calling me out of my name, which is defamation of character and is a suable offense, report them. Use the report button over there, report the video, report their channel, whatever it is. Thank you for those people who've already done those things. We've gotten videos taken down for defamation of character, slander, and misinformation. So thank you in advance for that. Otherwise, as always, all information is up to you to research. I do the research through many books and bring you the core pieces. Now I've made your life that much easier. So feel free to send a donation on blacksite32. I do have a donation page. Thank you for all the people who are in my Badwolf Wolf Pack on YouTube, which is done by going to the main channel, clicking the join, and then providing a monthly, whatever level you deem necessary, amount to support me monthly. Otherwise, the PayPal on Blackside 32 is whatever you want to pay, one time, monthly. You can set that all up. Thank you in advance. Differences would be is that YouTube, although they take like half the money that you guys, offer for my monthly subscription, you do get the videos behind the scenes. Blackside 32, the PayPal link, I get it all, minus PayPal's tiny fee, but that doesn't come with any videos or whatever else. But you can also sign up for the newsletter on Blackside 32 as well. And lastly, my backup channel is the Badwolf Media channel. And on that channel, I will have some content from here over there. And I will also be on there doing, covering other things in life, health, spirituality, topics, relationships, you name it. We can talk about everything open on that. And on that channel, I will have all the comments on, okay? I will try to have the filter set so that people and AIs and bots and trolls, cannot thrive there and spread misinformation and delusions. So I will do my best with that. All right, guys, you guys take care of yourselves. Thank you for watching this video. I got more to make, lots of great fire. You think this is good? Just keep watching the videos. We're gonna make it hot in this piece. So talk to you guys later. Thank you. Beautiful souls. I will talk to you later. Take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.